In 1960, while the world's eyes were glued to America's Apollo missions, something terrifying was unfolding on our neighboring planet Venus. The Soviet Union had planned a suicide mission to send a probe that would land on another planet for the first time in history and capture its images. The Russian probes faced hellish conditions on Venus that shocked scientists and tested every bit of their ingenuity. Today, we dive into these Venus suicide missions that revealed the planet's frightening secrets. How a tiny camera lens cap destroyed years of Russian work and billions of dollars, and why, even today, despite advanced technology, Russia never returned. Welcome to TexTv. Before we move ahead, we want to tell you what this channel is all about. On TexTv, you'll find powerful, mind-blowing and deeply informative videos. Back in the 1960s and 70s, the Cold War was at its peak. America and Russia were competing to prove who could become the king of space. Both nations wanted to showcase their strength and capabilities to the world. America focused all its energy on the moon, while Russia had already landed probes there, partially winning the space race. But when President John F. Kennedy promised to land a human on the moon before 1970, the stakes rose. Observing this, the Soviets shifted their target to Venus, aiming to prove if America can reach the moon, Russia can conquer hell itself. Scientists initially thought Venus and Earth were similar. They are neighbors, almost the same size, and at comparable distances from the Sun. But Venus was shrouded in thick clouds, hiding its true nature. No one knew what lay beneath those clouds. It was a mystery box even for scientists. The Soviets reasoned, if telescopes can see the moon, what if they could reveal Venus's hidden world? Capturing oceans, forests, or alien creatures could win the space race in one strike. And so, they planned 18 Venus missions designing the Venera probes, named after Venus in Russian. It was certain that Venus had an atmosphere due to its proximity to the Sun and dense clouds, but how extreme that atmosphere was remained unknown. Venera probes were designed to withstand high atmospheric pressure, but everything remained a secret until success, for failure would bring humiliation. On February 4, 1961, the first Soviet probe was sent toward Venus, but it failed to exit Earth orbit. The Soviets hid this failure from the world, citing it as a satellite launch experiment. Following policy, they always built 2 probes per mission to ensure at least one could succeed. The first pair, Venera 1 and 2, were flyby missions meant only to collect data. On February 12, 1961, Venera 1 was launched, the first probe ever sent toward another planet. 7 days later, contact was lost, and the silent probe passed 100,000 kilometers from Venus without sending data. It still drifts somewhere around the Sun. 4 years later, Venera 2 was launched on November 12, 1965, but met the same fate, losing contact after leaving Earth orbit. Multiple secret attempts in the 1960s failed, called the ghost missions in space history. After the failures of the Venera 1 and 2, the Soviets stepped up their game in 1966 with Venera 3 and 4, heavier and more powerful probes weighing over a ton. Each probe had 2 main sections, one to carry it through Venus's outer atmosphere and a spherical module to enter the planet itself. This sphere was packed with sensors, a barometer to measure pressure, a gas analyzer to detect atmospheric gases, thermometers, batteries, and 2 antennas to transmit data back to Earth. Venera 3's mission was simple: study Venus's atmosphere. There was no plan for a soft landing. This was essentially a suicide mission. Unfortunately, as soon as it entered Venus's harsh environment, the system failed, sending no data back. Yet, on March 1st, 1966, Venera 3 became the first human-made object to crash on another planet's surface. In October 1967, Venera 4 brought the first real success. It survived long enough to measure Venus's atmosphere, detecting a high concentration of carbon dioxide, about 25 times thicker than Earth's atmosphere, according to initial claims. Venera 4 even had a parachute, but the probe crushed under extreme pressure, like a soda can. Realizing that probes couldn't safely land on Venus, the Soviets sent Venera 5 and 6 in 1969 for atmospheric descent only. Equipped with parachutes and only enough time to transmit 50 minutes of data, both probes crashed within an hour before full information could be sent. Undeterred, the Soviets designed Venera 7, an ultra-strong, tank-like probe built purely to survive the landing. Most instruments were removed to prioritize durability. A technical glitch limited it to temperature measurements only, yet scientists cleverly calculated Venus's atmospheric pressure to be 90 times that of Earth, equivalent to being 1 kilometer underwater. During the descent, another disaster struck. The parachute failed, and the probe hit the surface at 17 meters per second. Miraculously, it survived, though upside down with its antenna facing downward. Still, the Soviets managed to receive weak signals for 23 minutes, making Venera 7 the first human-made object to transmit data from another planet's surface. The data was shocking: 465 degrees Celsius surface temperature, hotter than any conventional oven. As the probe descended, it also detected sideways pushes from Venus's storms, revealing winds faster than the strongest hurricanes on Earth. Using the Doppler effect, scientists calculated storm winds at 360 kilometers per hour in the upper atmosphere. With Venera 8, missions became more advanced and strategic. It carried a gamma spectrometer to study soil, a light sensor to measure daylight levels, and deliberately landed during the day. The sensor confirmed that, despite the thick clouds, Venus's surface received enough light for visibility similar to cloudy days on Earth. Venera 8 survived 60 minutes on the planet, enduring extreme heat and pressure, a feat almost miraculous for machinery at that time. From Venera 9 to 12, the Soviets faced both success and misfortune. These massive 5-ton UFO-like landers protected delicate electronics with shock absorbers and crush rings, and even included cameras to capture a 360-degree view of Venus. Yet, landing mishaps prevented some lens caps from opening. Despite sending data, images remained scarce until Venera 9 finally sent a single-lens photo in October 1975, marking the first ever picture from another planet's surface. Next came Venera 13 and 14, marking the golden era of Soviet Venus exploration. These missions showed the world what humans had never seen before. Equipped with cameras, microphones, drills, and seismometers, they didn't just photograph the surface, they recorded sounds, measured soil, and tested for earthquakes. Venera 13 made history by capturing the first ever colored images of Venus, revealing an orange sky and brownish terrain scattered with sharp rocks. The microphone recorded wind and distant thunder, giving scientists their first real audio of another planet. But even genius missions can face bad luck. On Venera 14, a spring-loaded soil tester accidentally fell onto the camera lens, measuring the lens cap's hardness instead of the soil. Millions of dollars and years of effort were wasted by a tiny mistake, proving that space is unforgiving. Afterwards, the Soviets shifted strategy with Venera 15 and 16. Instead of landing, these probes orbited Venus for 8 months equipped with synthetic aperture radar, SAR, to map the planet's surface through thick clouds. For the first time, scientists could see 88-kilometer-high mountains and thousands of kilometers of deep cracks. Thanks to these missions, we finally have a complete map of Venus's surface. Even though some criticized these missions as failures, the Soviets' persistent experiments revealed Venus's terrifying reality. Surface temperature, 465 degrees Celsius, hotter than any Earth oven. Atmospheric pressure, 90 times Earth's. Thick clouds of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid. Relentless, hurricane-like winds sweeping the planet constantly. Rocky, jagged terrain making landing nearly impossible. And here's a question for you. If Venus's clouds are made of sulfuric acid, why doesn't the acid rain reach the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.